Okay, we're just going to talk about how to be able to split this particular viewport up and to create two sort of different scales out of it. One will be 1:10, which will be this area here. And this thing here will probably won't fit all the way across, so we're going to have to split this in two as well and maybe put a bit of it underneath. So I'll show you the procedures of doing that. First of all, some of you might have had problems creating the scale. Just make this is earlier on, that is. So if we were in model space and you wanted to create a scale of 1:25, just be sure that when you created your scale that you, as you can see, this one here got stuffed, but basically the reason that's like that is because when it was first created, the units, the drawing units here were not put in as 25. So the proper one, the only way to do it is to rename it something else and do it again by adding a new one and creating it probably this time. If I edit it there, it now has 25 in there when you first create it. So basically that happens when you go add, you're putting a number in here, 1:25, and then down here you have to put, excuse me, 25 as well. And that's how you can get the scale working. Now I'll leave that and get back to what we're doing. Here's this wonderful drawing here that was kindly donated by a student, half finished, but we'll just show you how to put that in paper space now. So if you first go into here, there is a viewport here already, which I would like you to delete. So to do that, we'll click on here. We'll select the viewport. The reason this thing came up for me is because I got selection cycling on down here, down the bottom here, and that comes up so I can choose, because sometimes there's 2 or 3 things on top of each other. So this is a good way of checking what you're actually selecting. So I'll get the viewport. Oops, I think that I lost that just then. I'll click it now. Viewport is what we want. We should be able to press delete now, and that gets rid of everything. Now I'll go back to home and I'll quickly put in here the viewport layer, which you want to be drawing stuff on. And we're going to go to the layout tab, or you can type in the command M for Mary, V for viewport, make viewport, MV. But basically this is it, a rectangular viewport. And what you can do is select rectangular and just draw something like this here now. You get the whole drawing in there, which is fine, but what we'll do is just zoom in here and just look at the area we want to look at. So basically we'll get that around about central to that. And then we're going to go with scale 1:25 for this one. And as you can see, it probably doesn't fit in very well. Now that grid there is because actually the snap is on as well. I'll just get rid of that, and the grid will clear that up for us. All right, down the bottom. All right, so that's 1:25. So what we need to do now is just pan that across a bit so we can see the beginning of that. And let me just get out of that for a minute. We're double clicking out here, and I'll just make this a lot bigger so I can actually see the whole thing. All right, even though it's going past, that's fine. What we need to do now is to split it possibly in half somewhere. And to do that, what I recommend we do, and with this sort of drawing, to get everything fitted on there, we have to have everything tightly packed. I'll even move this up here so we don't waste any room. Just turn off OSnap for a minute for this exercise, and just move this up here. So eventually your drawing will have dimensions and notes and all this sort of stuff, but I'm not interested in that at this point. We just want to show you how the technique works. All right, in splitting it. So to split this up, I'll make that the actual width, and now we're going to copy this using the normal copy command we'll do. Enter, and we'll just paste it down the bottom here. I'll just put ortho back on. There we are, down the bottom there. So we've got 2 of that now. So what I'm going to do here is just pick this up now. My OSnap is off, which is what we need to have. Grab this across here and drag it to a known point over here. Now if you wish to have a bit of an overlap, perhaps this could be one of those areas where you can overlap a bit. So this particular column or wherever it might be, we can use that as an overlap. So which means on this side over here, we could go here and oops, let me close that and just drag that across, so there's that overlap there like that. So now what I'm going to do is escape that and move this particular one underneath over this side over here. All right, so you can put for example, and that's just where I chose to break it. I mean, you might choose to break it more in the middle, perhaps along along sort of this area here, so it's more equal. but that's the technique anyhow. If I come across here, make that a bit smaller, as I said, just tightly packed. You can also go in here and use this other thing here under the Express tools, the break line. So you can put a break line in here, so we can use the nearest option here. Now don't forget the break line option here. If I just have a look at that again, if I click it, you can see here that the size is 100. I got that preset for something else beforehand. Maybe that's not what we want for the size, so we can change that size to be more like, say, 5mm, for example, because we're dealing with paper space here, and the extension might only be 2mm, for example. So we can then go ahead and do this break line using this nearest option here. We just grab it from about there to, say, shift right click nearest here and just drop it about there, and the midpoint will be about there. Oops, has that worked or not? I can't see. Hold on a minute. We'll do it. Maybe I'll just do it away from that, because I'm not sure if we've done anything there. Let me just have a look. No, I'll just do that away. I'll just do it again. Let me just click it out here in the middle of nowhere, and we can move it across. I am using the viewport layer, which is not that good, so you can't see much with that. In fact, the viewport layer may be off. Hold on a second. No, it's not off. Anyway, regardless of that, maybe we should put that on something like dimension, or something like notes, or something like that. I can't see that in this particular example in a hurry, so I'll just put it in layer 0 for now. Okay, it shouldn't be in that, but anyhow, just for because we're running out of time. So let's just go from here to there. I'm not sure what's going on with this break line symbol here, but it is a bad example. There it is. We found it. All right, so now I just have to move this over so that it is enter from the, and I put those snaps back on, endpoint of that to perpendicular right onto that viewport there. Don't forget that viewport won't be printed out. So if I turn off the viewport, you see roughly what I'm going to get when I do print it out, which is something like that. And you can repeat that for that end over here. All right, let's just turn the viewport back on. Now, what we need to do is create that's 1:25. We click on here. You can see that's 1:25, and I do recommend that you, after you've done them all, that you highlight them and you do lock them like this. Okay, so that's the story there. Okay, so now we're going to put in the 1:10 viewport, and to do that again we can type in MV, or we can go to the layout tab and just click rectangular viewport, and simple as doing the same procedure as before, just double clicking in there now, zooming in so you can see the whole, so you have the actual section in almost the whole view there, and just centrally located. And then you can go down to your scale here and just select 1:10, which is right there. All right, well, I must have been pretty right because it didn't move. I'll just do it again. I'm not sure. No, I've got the wrong one. Here we go, 1:10. It looks about right. So that's your 1:10. Now I can just double click out here, or you can click the paper button down the bottom, or the model button, and that would just make that come out of paper space. I'll just turn off OSnap for this part of it, where I'm going to make this viewport a bit smaller and more tight around that section there. And if you've got notes, obviously model space, you've got to make sure your viewport is allowing for those notes to be seen. And if I just move that now with my move command up a bit, so that's basically that. I'm not sure whether you're going to get all 3 rows in here. It's going to be pretty tight, but that's the procedure of splitting, and that's the procedure of making that 1:10 and 1:25. Again, as I said, lock this viewport once you've done that. What that does is, if I double click in here accidentally, zoom in there, it won't stuff that scale up. So that's the basics about doing that. Thank you very much. We'll stop the recording right here.